Hi everybody, just checking if anybody else is here. I had a little technical problem, but I think I've got it sorted now. So hello and good evening to everybody. Just give me a little nod if you're here. Okay. I'm not using the Sweet as a Peach today. I just have that card there because I'm using a little bit of what we made last week. And last week I made these two cards and a little the little mini jam jar with sweets in, and I had one of these pieces left over. And so what I thought I'd do is use it on this week's card because I didn't want to waste it, and it's such a pretty little piece. So you can see here's the same piece that I stamped and cut out last week, and I'd also die cut some of the little peaches, and so I've just popped those on with a little teeny weeny dimensional just to make that pop. And so this is the card base that we're going to make this week. Now the base itself is a really simple one. It's like a half fold card with a little bit trimmed off, and you can either cut your card just to this size or do what I do, and I always have the card pre-cut. So these are going to be our sizes, and I've already got a lot of my little pieces ready. I popped them in an envelope today just so I'd be able to find them easier. Oh, let's take all of these pieces out. So, hi Diane, thanks for joining us. I had a little technical problem in that none of the electricity was working at the front of the craft room. So I had to find a husband who would bring me some cables and get things ready. But yeah, these were our cards last week, and we were doing the two-step stamping almost on here, and we made a little jam jar as well with the peaches in, little fuzzy peaches. I would show you those, but I've eaten them all. So today, let's start with that new card. I've already got half a piece of my cardstock, and it's in Bumblebee. Now, as I said earlier, really the base only needs to be 7 1/4 by 5 1/2, but I tend to chop most of my card in half once I get it so that all my bases are ready. So this is going to be just a little bit too big. So I'm going to cut it down to the right size. So it's already, let's see, it's already 5 1/2 across, and I need it 7 1/4 long instead of the 8 1/2 that it already is. So I'll leave that there for you to see. I'm going to chop it at 7 1/4. I'm sorry I didn't get to watch your Starburst card today, Diane. It was just starting as I finished getting supper ready, but I will watch it later. Okay, so I'm going to score this at 3 inches, and that's going to be the side that we use for the front of the card. It's just going to be a bit narrower than normal. But I find it's a great way to be able to use designer series paper and to use up sort of 2 different designs. I have cut paper already, and for this card I'm going to use the sweet ice cream set. Now this is carrying over into the annual catalogue. You've probably seen it in there already, but really we saw it first in the January to June catalogue, and some of the things that go with it are retiring, so I want to use some of mine up. And this beautiful designer series paper that goes with it's just so pretty. And I actually had 3 packs. This is what I've got left of 3 packs, but I'm almost thinking about getting some more because I've used it for so many children's birthday cards. I used it for all of my preschool cards, and it is really nice. And I know I'll kick myself if I don't buy it, so I think I might just buy it anyway. Let me find these little pieces. Now, DSP I've already cut for the front piece, which is this one, to 2 3/4 by 5 1/4, and I've got a little strip, like a coordinating strip, that's going to go just on the inside here. And that way you get to see 2 different designer series papers, but really you haven't had to cut much at all. It's only a tiny bit. And I've got a little piece of Whisper White. It should be the basic white, but I've got a half pack of Whisper White and I'm just using that up at the moment. So it is actually the Whisper White, but now when you order the white card, it will say on it basic white. And it's a little bit brighter than the Whisper White was. So let's just attach this. So, hi Jane. Yeah, the storm's here. It's just off to the side at the mountains. But we had a really big storm on Sunday evening and we thought everything was okay. And I just put my computer onto charge and it'd been on for about an hour and nothing had happened. And then I realised that there was no power in the craft room. So although it's black out there, I can't blame the storm for sending the power out today. I think it was the one from Sunday evening. Hubby's on a mission now to go and find out what's wrong with it. So, but at least he got the craft room working for me, so that was good. So my other little piece of designer series paper, I'm just going to put on this right hand side. And Jane, I don't know if you saw which cards we're making. Let me just show you. You saw me make the Sweet as a Peach set last week, this set. And remember I had just one of these pieces left over, and so that's what I'm actually using on today's card. I'm using a few bits and pieces of scrap. I had some of this designer series paper, but I didn't have a full length, so I popped this little piece of green card across to make it look like a ribbon, but really that's where it was 2 pieces joined together. I don't like to waste all my pretty paper, so we're just making this really easy front fold card that has the little piece missing down the right hand side, and that little piece, it's great for backing a sentiment or something. So here were the measurements, Jane, because I'm not sure if you've seen those yet. Okay, so here's the basic card, and what I'm doing for this one is I'm using the Sweet Ice Cream set, and I'm going to use the little triangle for the cornet, and this little piece that gives you the waffle cone look, and the little ice cream itself. So I'm just going to pop these bits on one side, and I've got, oh, let me find my punch. Where's it hiding? I've got the punch as well. Now the punch does cut out these 2 pieces beautifully, but sometimes it's just hard to line them up. And I know when I first started at Stampin' Up, it was the first time that I'd seen punches that had more than 1 piece on, and I was never quite sure how to use them. And I saw a really good tip when I was on stage in Red Deer, and I've used it ever since. So what I do, if it's one of these kind of punches that's got 2 different pieces, you can't stamp these and hope to have them, you know, in the right space. So what I do is I just take a little piece of scrap and I pop it into the punch. I put mine just as far down as it'll go. Punch those out. Now we don't need those 2 pieces. What we actually need is this. And I write on here, top of punch. And then I know that that's going to be my template, and that would fit exactly into here. Then what I do is, let me get a piece to stamp on. Put my card on here. You can use a little piece of washi tape if you want to keep it still. I don't always use a piece of washi tape. Sometimes I just pop it on top and hope it keeps still. But let me show you. So a little piece of washi tape, and I just make sure that these 2 pieces of card are staying together. Okay, and then I stamp inside those shapes. So I'm going to stamp the ice cream. I've got cinnamon cider for the cornet itself, but I don't want it full strength. So I'm going to just ink it up, stamp it off once, and then I'm just going to hold that over where the punched out shape is, because it fits in there just perfectly. Oh, it would do if I'd stamped it all the way in. Let's see if I can do it like this, otherwise I'll just turn it around. There we are. So that's it stamped in there. Oh, but now it's too dark. Oh, let me turn it over. Just ignore that bit, pretend I didn't do it. Let's pop it back on. Okay. Right, take two. So I'm gonna ink it up, stamp it off once, and then I'm gonna put it inside that little piece. Just hold it for a second or two. Yeah, I love this set, Jane. I've used it so much. And I was saying the designer series paper, I've had 3 packs of it, and I'm thinking I'm going to get some more before it retires. Okay, now I've got the little crisscrossy piece, and I'm using that at full strength, and it just fits in here and makes it look like one of those little sugar waffle cones. So that's me done with that one. And then for my ice cream, I'm using Flirty Flamingo. So I'm going to just stamp that up, and again I'm just going to put it in that where the little die cut is. I'm just going to pop it inside there. It fits just perfectly. Okay, and then I'll close that up. Let's get rid of those, so we're not going to need those for a little while. And then once you take this off, it doesn't want to come off, of course, today. There we go. Let's move that down. Okay. And then when we take this off, there's your 2 pieces already stamped. And as you put this into here, and I've made it a bit big, so let me just chop a bit off. As you put this into here, it will line up just perfectly. And let me just get that straight. And that way you can keep this little template, keep it with your punch, and then you know exactly where to stamp and how to stamp, so that it punches out perfectly every single time. Now I'm actually not going to use those pieces for my card because I'm going to cheat, and I'm using the designer series paper itself. And while I've been making lots of cards, I've found that this is the easiest way to do it. I've got my punch again, and I just want a cornet made out of this piece of paper, because on the back, look, it's that waffle sugar cone sort of thing. And I'm just putting it in there. I'm just going to punch that one little piece out. I think I've used this so much, you know, I think it needs sharpening. Let me find a piece of tin foil. And the best way to sharpen our punches is just to put them in tin foil a few times. Oh, just a minute, you don't call it tin foil, do you? Jane, what is it called? Like aluminium foil. I want to go in that piece. In you go. I'm just going to cut a few times. And it makes lots of bits of mess, but it does just sharpen the punch up. And as I say, I've been using this so much lately. I've probably tired it out. Now I've got a desk full of silver paper. A few more. Some of the paper, it's a bit rumpled underneath, so it doesn't want to go through, and I'm trying to do 2 pieces at the same time. There we go. Put that back. I always just have a piece of tin foil there, just ready. And I don't know, there might be another way to sharpen punches. Somebody else might be able to tell me. But that's the way I've always done it. That's the way I learned how to do it a long time ago. And I always sharpen them like that now. So let's put that in there. Ooh, see how nice and sharp that is now? Ooh, much better. See, that one's all raggy. This one's not. Okay, so I've got that little corner. I'm going to save those other pieces though. Okay, and then for my ice cream, I'm going to use this piece. You see where these blotches are? That's what I'm using for the ice cream. And if you wanted to make it a different colour, there's a blue and green piece like that as well. Like this one. Oh, it's on the back of the dotty one that I'm using. So you could cut your ice creams out of there as well. So I'm not quite sure what colour I'm going to use, but because I've got Bumblebee card, I think I'm going to try for this yellowy piece here. There we go. Oh yeah, I like that. I don't know if I want 2 ice creams, so I'm gonna put that in there as well. It might be too high to have 2 ice creams. I'm not sure, because as you can tell, I haven't made this card already. I just thought it sounded like a good idea when I was playing. I'm glad you call it tin foil. Yeah, you know what I mean. So let's pop those over there. I don't want that piece. Let's throw that piece away. Okay, so let's go back to our card base. This is going to be my like my sentiment and everything, and I'm going to put it in the middle. And this piece, I'm going to glue my ice cream cornet on and do my sentiment as well. So it's easier if you do the sentiment first, and then that way you know you've got enough space. And there's lots of times that I've maybe stamped something and then found that the rest of it won't fit on. So I'm only stamping something small. I'm putting You're So Cool at the side, just with Memento ink. Oh, now look, I've got ink on there. But nobody will know because that ice cream will be there. So, Diane. Yeah, but over here, a lot of people don't say tin foil. And they don't even say aluminium. They say that other strange word like aluminum. And for the longest while, I didn't even know what they were talking about. So, okay, I'm going to pop this on here. And then I'm going to get my little ice cream pieces. And you could put these up on dimensionals if you wanted. That would look pretty cool. Let's do that. I'll find my dimensionals. Diane, I'm coming to your neck of the woods, and Jane actually, coming to your neck of the woods hopefully next week. I'm hoping that we're allowed to fly. We've got tickets, and WestJet haven't said that we can't fly yet, but I'm coming to Ontario to see my daughter. I haven't seen her now for 3 years, so it's been a long while. And as you know, she had her wedding all organised and then cancelled. Then they booked it again for this March, and then it was cancelled again. Hopefully it's going to be next March. So, okay, now I'm going to attach this here, and I'm going to put dimensionals on again. I know that this card isn't going in the mail. If it was going in the mail, then I probably wouldn't have put dimensionals on this side, because often when I'm sending things to the UK, if I have 2 rows of dimensionals, it's just too wide. It is too thick to go in that little, like the little slot that they use. Okay. Now you remember I had that little piece on here where I covered up. I do have a little piece of the yellow, and I'm not sure, but I just might keep that on there as well. Yeah, I'm going to. It's really a bit big for what I need, so we'll just pop it on anyway. Now Jane, I don't know if you know, but Diane Inkster, she's in Guelph. She's in your neck of the woods, and she's a silver demonstrator over there. She's one of my silver sisters that I talk about, where we all sort of get together, and they've been the most amazing bunch of girls that have helped me, and I'm forever grateful for them. But Diane's daughter got married, and my daughter, who works at Sick Kids, I was showing her a photograph because it was when Anne-Marie was booking her wedding, and I was saying, look at these beautiful shawls that my friend's daughter wore when it was cold outside. And she looked at the picture and she said, but Mum, I know one of those girls. I know the bridesmaid. I said, no, you can't do, because really, I've never met Diane either. It's just, you know, I only know her from Stampin' Up. And she said, no, I know that girl. She's a nurse. And then when I spoke to Diane Inkster, she said, oh, yeah. So our daughters have a friend in common, which, you know, it's a really small world. But it was just nice to know that my daughter and her daughter have a friend in common, and that they knew each other. And Anne-Marie had already seen the wedding photos with the shawls. So, you know, Mum was last as usual. I'm just going to put a little ribbon on here as well. Let's pop that away. I could make it a coloured ribbon, but I don't quite yet know who I'm going to send this to. And I know if I make it a fancy colour, I can't send it to, you know, my teenage nephews or anything. So I tend not to put coloured ribbons on their cards, because then they just look at me like, you know, I don't want a pink ribbon or a purple ribbon, thanks. And I'm just going to pop it up here. Now, if you wanted to put extra on here, there is a stamp in here where you can stamp sprinkles, and there's also these little plasticky kind of sprinkles. They feel like they're made of a kind of a resin. They're teeny weeny, but they look so cute on these. Look at these. Now in England we have these kind of ice creams with a chocolate flake in, like it's not quite a chocolate bar, but it's sort of crumbly chocolate bar, and it's maybe as thick as your finger and as long as my like porky sausage finger, and you put that right in the top of your ice cream, and it's called a 99. I don't really know why it's then called a 99, but that's what I've always known it as. Is that something you have over in Ontario? Because I've never seen it here in Alberta. But I'm hoping when we're there, we'll be able to get nice fish and chips and sort of English style, and a 99. So let's pop those on there. See how they just lift that little card a bit. I like those. I like those. They're a bit fiddly, but I do like them. I tried at first to stick them on with the glue dot, but the glue dot's much too big. So it's really better with the wet glue. Okay, so there's my first card using this little technique. I'm going to make a masculine card as well, and it's going to be just a little bit different to that, just to show that you can sort of, you know, you can step it up a bit, you can change it, but the basic card layout is just such an easy one. Now let me just get rid of some of these things, and then I can find the next set of papers. My husband moved everything off the desk when he was trying to get the electricity going, but you know, things are not in the right place. I had everything laid out just where I needed it to be, and then, I mean, he kindly came and put some cords back on for me, but it wasn't quite where I wanted everything. But you know, he helped in his own little way. Oh no, you're not familiar with 99s, so that means I'm not going to get one next week, isn't it? So I don't know who's having a baby, Diane. You said congratulations on the baby coming. Unless you know something that I don't know, which is always possible. but I don't know that there's a baby yet. So there might be. I could secretly hope, but I'm not sure. So the next card is with the Handsomely Suited set. And again, I chose something from the January to June catalogue that was also going to carry over to the annual catalogue. Now, I must admit, I had this and I've not really used it. I took out one of the dies today for the first time and one of the stamps, and that's all. I bought the set as soon as the catalogue went live, and then, as you know, I lost my dad, and I put this set right to the bottom because every time I looked at, I only saw it say Happy Father's Day, and it's a beautiful set, but that's all I could see. So it was only last week that I took it off the shelf again, and I'm using it with the Happy Birthday now. I can see past the Father's Day ones. I haven't used the dies to make a suit or anything, but I've seen loads of great pictures on Pinterest. I've only used these two little dies, and I'm making little dicky bow ties. So I must get all of these labels put onto the rest of the stamps. So yeah, Jane, we were talking. Oh, Jane's daughter having a baby. Oh, yes, she is. Oh, Diane, I was so excited then. I thought you knew something I didn't know. Oh, well, I can wait. But yeah, Jane's daughter's having a baby. So she's got one beautiful grandchild already. And she's a lucky lady, is Jane. So I'm using as well the paper that goes with that set. And, oh, let me turn it around the right way. It's called Well Suited. And some of it, I have used the paper. I just didn't use the stamps in the dies. Some of it, this one, I used on a lady's card with a little pop-up card with lots of flowers in, and it looked beautiful. But equally, I've used it on the dicky bow ties for today, and it looks just as stunning. You know, although it's in a masculine pack, this paper, you can use it for all sorts. So I love this one. I love this suit. And this one too. You know, none of the men in my life would wear a paisley like this, but I've seen lots of guys who would, and it looks pretty stunning on them. Really, really nice paper. But again, it's going to retire at the end of this month, and it's a case of, if you want it, get it now, because they won't restock. So I've got all my little bits and pieces. Let me put these out again. Okay, so here's my base card, and this time I have it pre-cut. So it's just the same, 7 1/4 by 5 1/2. I've scored it at 3. Okay, and you need a little scrap for layering on this one. I've got my white that goes inside, and I'm going to put that in to start with. Okay. How's work going, Jane? Yeah, Diane, that's it. It's a cone with a Cadbury's flake in it. So Walmart do sell them. They're down the British aisle or the international aisle. The $3.96 for 4. Ask me how I know. We might eat a lot of those. But our Walmart sells them. But I really like the English style softer ice cream that goes into a 99. It's one of those where, you know, it goes like whirly on top. It doesn't look like this, not like a scoop. It's sort of piped, and it's usually a very soft ice cream, and then it has the flake stuck inside. It used to be a very rare treat when we were children, and as we got older we were allowed them, but when we were much younger you only got an ice lolly, like an ice popsicle or a freezy kind of one, and the grown-ups had the 99s. But as we got older, we were allowed to indulge. So, and indulge we did. Okay, so here are my 2 pieces of designer series paper. I've got this like little grid pattern one that I'm going to put on the front. Lots of lovely designs. One of those where you don't quite know which one you're going to choose because there's so many, and you look at one and think, oh yeah, that's the one I'm going to use, and then you look again, oh no, I think I might use the back of it. Oh no, I'm going to use this one instead. So pop this one on the inside. It was available at the weekend, Jane, because I ordered it for another lady. Well, she ordered it, but she didn't quite know how to do her order. So she was ordering it, and it was showing in the shop. Diane Inkster might know. Do you know if it's still in the store, Diane? This one? Oops. The Well Suited. So I know things are selling quick. Oh, Jane, yeah, you said last week that you were going to start doing the Pfizer vaccinations again, and you've gone back to work downtown. So, yeah. Yesterday, my husband was able to book his second shot. We've both had our first, and because he works for Alberta Health Services, they said yesterday that their employees could go and have their second shot. So he booked yesterday, but can't get an appointment until we're actually in Ontario. But because he's got an appointment, he can now go to the pharmacies and see if they have leftover vaccine. And if they have leftover vaccine, then they'll vaccinate him before we go. So we're hoping that someone will have leftover vaccine. Okay, so let's have a look. Now, here are my little bow ties. So, and I'd cut 4 because I wasn't too sure which ones I was going to use. So I've just got them stuck on a post-it note, and this is the sticky side. That's what's sticking them on. And I'm just going to have three little bow ties on here. Let's have a look. And then the sentiment, instead of having it in the middle, I'm going to make the sentiment and cut it out on the tailored tag punch and have it across the bottom. And I have actually already stamped it. I used Pacific Point and I stamped it and cut it out with the tailored tag, just so that I knew how much space I was going to need for this and where my bow ties needed to go. And I think I'm going to have them about there. I don't know whether to put that brighter one in. Let's just see. Oh, thanks, Diane. Yeah, best not to wait for any of the paper. Oh, I'm going to put that one in. Because knowing our luck, you know, it'll be here today. You'll think, well, I'm going to place my order tomorrow, and then they'll be gone. But when I first got it, I did think it was only going to be a masculine paper, and of course, it really isn't. I think that's one of the things about Stampin' Up. The papers are always fantastic, and you have it in your head, you know, oh look, this is with this more masculine set, and then you look at it and it's got flowers on like this, and it works for anything. Yeah, I'll just put that little bobbly bits on. And I'm going to attach these, I think, with dimensionals. So I'm just going to put a dimensional underneath. Let's see. I don't know if I need a small one or if that will fit. Oh, no, that would just fit, look. That was meant to be. My glue isn't quite dry, so it's a bit wobbly. I'm going to pop them just about in the middle here. Oh, Jane, you remember that rather large bag of the fuzzy peaches that I had last week that I was making the jam jars with? Well, I made 2 jam jars, and then there were no more fuzzy peaches left. I told you I liked them. I just didn't remember how much I liked them. But I did give one of the jars to a co-worker, so that was okay. And I made another little card for her, like one of the ones that we'd made already. So she thought that was quite nice. Now, for this, I want to have a backing layer, but because it's a punch, we don't have it in a different size as well. So what you can do is you can put it on a piece of card and you can cut all the way round so that you get just a tiny little border. Or what I tend to do is I will cut one, let me just see, let's find my scissors. I'll cut one and then I'll cut down the middle. And then you can attach it like this, so you get just a little border top and bottom, or even just the bottom if you want. I don't want to actually glue it down because that's not what I'm going to do for this time. Can you see how if you just stick it on the back and the front, then you do get that little border all the way around. But on the back, because you've got these extended, you end up with a little white line or whatever colour your card is. And this is going to go on the bottom here, and as you open it on the inside, you would see just that little bit of a white line, and I didn't really want to see that white line. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to use two of the Night of Navy little punch outs. I'm going to stick one on top of the other. And let's just pop a bit of glue here. I tend to use wet glue for things like this because I can wriggle it round. Whoops. Just rub that off. Yeah, I can wriggle it round a bit better. Whereas if I stick it and I've maybe used tear and tape or Stampin' Seal, sometimes I can't move it fast enough and then it's stuck. Okay, so there's that piece, and then you can see you've got this little chevron still. You could put it on like that, definitely, but I want it top and bottom. So oh, you're welcome, Jane. Did you get it? Oh, hi, Anne-Marie. Hi, how are you doing, sweetheart? You just back from golfing? I was just telling everybody that I'm coming to visit you next week, unless you've moved house. So I'm coming to visit, and I haven't seen her for 3 years, and I'm just so excited. Okay. So now I've got that same little outline, but on the back it looks all navy. So I can pop that on here, and when my card is opened, it doesn't look like I've got, you know, a white line through the middle. And I'm going to put it on dimensionals as well. And I'm going to line up these points with the very edge of my card. Oh, in fact, I'm going to line them up with this white line here. And I think that'll look quite nice. Okay. So there we are. And if you wanted to add something else down here, you could do a little bit of twine. You could make it into a knot. You could put a little piece of ribbon over and tie it in a knot. Lots of different ways to add a bit more too. So let's pop those away. And last of all, I think I'm going to decorate my envelope because I think this one warrants a nice envelope. So I'm going to choose one of these two papers. Let me get some more out of the bag. I think I'm going to choose this one. I like this one. And I'm just going to put it so that it goes over the edge here. And all I generally do for that is I tend to use wet glue. If I'm using a scrap of DSP, I know it has to be about 2¼ inches deep by I think think it's just more than 5.5. Let's have a look. It's 5 3/4. But if I've just got a piece like this, then I'll just stick it over. And I tend to put the straight edge down this fold on the envelope. Like this. Squash it down. Yeah, don't tell Anne-Marie I had fuzzy peaches, because she likes those too. And she might have thought I was taking them with me next week. So I'm going to use my bigger scissors, excuse me. Well, there might be 1 or 2 left actually, just let me check. So I've got the little jar that I made with them still in. I didn't eat any of those. And then 6 left in there. If Anne-Marie asks, I think Dad ate them. Oh, you're not moving again, Anne-Marie. You're coming to collect us at the airport, so I'll know where you live. And then I just trim this off. And if you didn't want to use your designer series paper to decorate an envelope, then you could always use the stamps or even the dies, and you could pop another little, let's see where that other piece is. You could pop another little dicky bow tie on here, or you could stamp a whole line of them. But I like having the back of the envelope done. Okay, so there's our cards for today, and it's that quick little template. Now I've lost my original one. Oh, here it is. It's Anne-Marie, I don't think you saw this. 3 years. Yeah. Yes, Jane. So, and then here's our little ice cream one as well. So give it a go. It's a really easy, quick template to use, and it uses only a tiny bit of designer series paper, but because you see 2 sides, it really sets it off. I love this contrast of the 2. But thank you, ladies, for joining me. I really do appreciate it. It was much easier to do the Facebook Live today as well. So thank you, Jane, for being there last week for the first one, and for talking me through it. It was much easier, and I didn't worry about trying to have the camera flipped or anything this time, so it was much more fun. Thank you. And I'll see you all again next week, next Tuesday at 6, and I'm hoping to take the all the equipment that I need to Ontario. I haven't asked my landlord yet, so Anne-Marie, can I bring all this stuff with me and still do my Facebook Lives, please? So, hope so. Thanks for joining me, everybody. I'll see you all again really soon. Bye-bye.